It's just been confirmed what we all suspected. The former head coach is back, but this time on the enemy side. And what happened at Soldier Field is going to change everything we knew about this season. But that's not the most shocking thing I have for you. A defensive coordinator who knows every secret of our playbook was just completely humiliated by the team that fired him. And I believe this marks a before and after in this roster's confidence. And if you thought that was today's only bombshell, you're completely wrong. Our rookie star on offense suffered an injury that's got all of Chicago holding its breath, just when we were starting to see the chemistry everyone had been waiting for. But the question that's killing me is, will this be a blessing in disguise, or the first stumble in a season that promised to be different? And to close with a bang, I have the play that has the entire NFL world talking, including a 7-ring legend who couldn't contain the excitement live. This play not only shows that Ben Johnson is installing something special, but it confirms that Caleb Williams has that X factor that Chicago has been waiting decades for. Stay until the end, because I'm going to reveal exactly why these 3 connected events will define whether we're real contenders or if we remain the same old Bears. Give it a like if you already know this season is different, and subscribe because what's coming is going to be an emotional roller coaster that only we true Bears fans can understand. Matt Eberflus returned to Soldier Field yesterday, but not as the head coach who was fired in November, but as the defensive coordinator for Dallas. And let me tell you something, what I saw on that field was pure poetry. Divine justice served on a silver platter. I'll tell you this, Eberflus knew every Caleb Williams tendency, every Shane Waldron preference, every secret of our playbook. He had the insider knowledge any defensive coordinator would dream of having. But what happened? Williams destroyed him with 298 yards and 4 touchdowns, without a single interception. You're crazy if you think this was a coincidence. This kid from USC showed he has something Eberflus never understood when he was our coach. The winning mentality that Chicago needs. Because I ask you, do you remember how Eberflus handled that last play against Detroit last Thanksgiving? That disaster that cost us the season. I believe that yesterday we not only won a game, we won confirmation that firing Eberflus was the best decision this organization has made in years. Ben Johnson has this team playing with a confidence I never saw under the previous regime. But here's what no one else is analyzing. The difference in preparation between both coaches was abysmal. Eberflus came thinking he could use his knowledge of Williams to neutralize him, but Johnson had studied exactly those tendencies and prepared perfect countermeasures. That's called chess versus checkers, folks. Look at the specific numbers. 385 total offensive yards, almost 7 yards per play, 31 points against a defense that supposedly knew all our plays. But the most impressive were those 24 first-half points. Williams was in complete control from the first snap. And here's the detail that has me completely sold: the way Williams adjusted his reads against the defenses Eberflus had seen all last training camp. Every hot route, every audible, every protection slide was anticipated by Dallas. But Williams found windows that Eberflus never saw because he never had the vision to fully develop this quarterback's potential. The Cowboys arrived with a specific game plan based on last year's film. Fatal error. Williams is not the same quarterback that Eberflus couldn't unlock. Ben Johnson has completely transformed his mental approach, his pocket presence, and his decision-making. What we saw yesterday was a quarterback who understands his system perfectly and trusts his receivers completely. And I ask you, did you notice how Williams handled pocket pressure? Eberflus as a coach never developed that composure, but as a defensive coordinator, he couldn't game plan against it either. Williams' evolution from November until now is the difference between having a coach who believes in your potential versus one who only sees limitations. The reality is Dallas has talent on defense. Micah Parsons, although limited, is still elite. Trevin Diggs has ball skills. DeMarcus Lawrence can generate pressure. But none of that mattered because Eberflus couldn't adjust his scheme to what Williams had become under Johnson's system. The Cowboys came thinking that with Eberflus they could neutralize our attack. Fatal error. Williams gave them a masterclass on why he's the future of this franchise, and why Eberflus could never fully unlock him. But not everything was perfect at Soldier Field. And here's the news that has all Bears Nation worried. Colston Loveland, our first-round rookie tight end, suffered a hip injury that took him out of the game, just when he was starting to show that special chemistry with Williams. I'll tell you this, before getting injured, Loveland had connected on a 31-yard reception that got us into Cowboys territory. That play showed exactly why we picked him in the first round. and why the Williams-Loveland connection can be special for years. But here's the context you need to understand. That 31-yard catch wasn't luck. Loveland found the soft spot in Dallas's zone coverage. Williams put the ball perfectly in stride, and the rookie showed excellent hands under pressure. That play was a preview of what this partnership could become throughout the entire season now. About the injuries specifically, hip injuries in tight ends are particularly tricky, because these guys need both blocking power and flexibility for route running. Loveland was starting to show that versatility that we fell in love with at Michigan. His ability to stretch the seam, work the middle, and provide reliable hands over the middle was becoming a real weapon for Williams. I think this injury comes at the worst possible timing, just when Williams is finding his rhythm, just when Ben Johnson is starting to implement more complex concepts that require that security blanket in the middle. Loveland was becoming exactly that type of target. But here's my deeper analysis. This injury could actually accelerate the development of other players. Gerald Everett will get more snaps, which could be huge because he has more experience and understands route concepts. That can help Williams in crucial moments. Cole Kmet will also see increased usage, and his chemistry with Williams from last year could pay dividends. The real question is, will this injury be a blessing in disguise? Because I ask you, how many times have we seen early adversity strengthen rookies for the rest of their careers? Tom Brady missed significant time his rookie year. Aaron Rodgers sat completely. Sometimes, early setbacks create more hunger and better preparation habits. But what worries me more is the ripple effect on our offensive game planning. Ben Johnson had clearly designed specific concepts around Loveland's skill set. Those 12 personnel packages, those 2 tight end sets that we were starting to see more frequently, now need to be adjusted. And here's what no one is saying. Loveland's injury puts more pressure on our wide receivers to step up. DJ Moore needs to be more consistent. Rome Odunze needs to continue developing. Luther Burden III showed flashes yesterday, but now he might need to contribute more regularly than originally planned. The reality is that hip injuries, especially in young players, usually heal completely with proper treatment. But the timing is brutal because training camp chemistry is irreplaceable. Loveland and Williams were just starting to develop that telepathic connection that great quarterback tight end duos need still. I have faith in the medical staff and Loveland's work ethic. This kid has shown maturity beyond his years since arriving. If anyone can come back stronger from this type of setback, it's him. And now comes the play that has the entire NFL world talking. A perfect flea flicker from Williams to Swift and back to Williams to connect with Luther Burden III for 65 yards. But what made this play truly special was Tom Brady's reaction in the broadcast booth. I'll tell you this, when Tom Brady, the GOAT with 7 rings, gets so excited he shouts, "Oh my God," live, you know we just witnessed something special. Brady has seen it all in this sport, and the way he reacted to our play confirms we have something unique here. But let me break down this play step by step because the execution was absolutely flawless. First, Williams receives the snap and immediately hands off to Swift. The selling of the fake was perfect. Williams sold it as if it were a regular handoff, complete with empty hands after the exchange. Swift takes the handoff and starts toward the line as if he were going to run between the tackles. But here's the key. He maintained perfect ball security while monitoring the secondary. The Cowboys linebackers completely bit on the fake, starting to fill their run gaps. The safeties also start to come down to support against the run. Then Swift stops, pivots, and tosses the ball back to Williams. And here's where you can see the chemistry Ben Johnson has been building. Williams was already setting up for the throw back, his feet properly positioned, his eyes already downfield scanning for the open receiver. Meanwhile, Luther Burden III had been running what looked like a basic comeback route. But after the pitch back, he breaks into a deep post. The Cowboys' defensive backs were completely caught off guard because they had committed to stopping the run fake. Williams catches the lateral from Swift and immediately locates Burden III, who now has a step and a half on his defender. The throw was absolutely perfect, right in stride, allowing Burden to catch and run without having to slow down or adjust his route. Brady's reaction was pure instinct. You could hear in his voice that he wasn't trying to be overly excited for television. That was genuine appreciation for perfect execution, and coming from someone who has executed clutch plays in the biggest moments. That validation means everything. But here's what makes this play even more impressive. It came in prime time, against the Dallas defense that supposedly knew all our tendencies from Eberflus. Ben Johnson called this play specifically because he knew Dallas would be aggressive against the run, and he exploited that aggression perfectly. The timing requirements for this play are insane. Williams needs to sell the initial fake, Swift needs to know exactly when to lateral back, and Burden needs to time his route break perfectly. One missed him step and the whole play falls apart. But the execution was so clean you'd think they'd been running it for years. And when Brady says he couldn't contain his excitement, that's coming from someone who threw passes to Randy Moss, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski. He understands what it takes to execute plays under pressure. And seeing Williams do it as a sophomore quarterback clearly impressed him. But here's what excites me most. This wasn't just a lucky play call. This represents the complete offensive philosophy that Ben Johnson is installing, using motion, misdirection, and perfect timing to create explosive plays. It's exactly what made Detroit's offense so dangerous when he was calling plays there. The fact that Williams executed it flawlessly shows his football IQ is already at a high level. Rookie quarterbacks usually struggle with complex plays like this, but Williams looked completely comfortable throughout the entire sequence. Now let me ask you 3 questions that will define how you view the rest of this season. First, after seeing Eberflus completely outcoached by Ben Johnson, are you convinced that we made the right coaching change? I believe that yesterday confirmed that this new direction is exactly what Chicago needed. Second, with Loveland's injury, what do you expect from the development of our other targets? Because I ask you, will this early adversity accelerate the growth of guys like Gerald Everett and our wide receivers? And third, after seeing that Brady reaction to the perfect flea flicker, are you ready to accept that Caleb Williams is already playing at a level we haven't seen in Chicago in a long time? I'll tell you that this kid has that special factor that separates good quarterbacks from great quarterbacks. These are not casual questions. They are the questions that will determine whether we continue to be optimistic, or if we start to really believe that this season could be different. If you agree with me that Ben Johnson is the coach Chicago needed, give this video a like. If you believe Williams has already proven he's franchise quarterback material, subscribe, because I guarantee that every week, we're going to have deep analysis of why this season is going to be historic for Chicago. Because this isn't just entertainment. We're a family that has suffered together, and now we're ready to celebrate together. Every like, every subscription, every comment brings us closer to being the strongest Bears fan community on all of YouTube. Leave your thoughts in the comments and stay connected, because tomorrow we're going to have more exclusive analysis that no other channel is going to give you. Chicago deserves quality content, and you deserve to be part of something special. Bear down, and I'll see you in the next video.